Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Arteta says important Arsenal star could return to action versus Man City. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has confirmed that Thomas Partey will be in the Gunners squad against Manchester City. The Arsenal boss, speaking at his pre-match press conference on Friday, says the Gunners midfielder is ahead of schedule. Indeed, Arteta suggested he planned to use Partey against Lens, but Arsenal weren't able to, as they had other necessities in the game. Partey has made just 4 appearances this season, 3 in the Premier League after the Community Shield. The 30-year-old has missed 6 games due to a groin injury and was an unused substitute in the Champions League loss to Lens. However, Arteta has reassured fans by saying Partey will be in the matchday squad, though he didn't confirm whether he'd start. When asked by Football London whether Partey is fit enough to start, he said, "He is ahead of schedule, that's for sure. We wanted to have him in the squad if we needed to. The way the game panned out, we had other necessities and didn't use him. He will be in the squad." Partey could be the second important player to potentially start for Arsenal after Bukayo Saka. On the subject of the Gunners' forwards' fitness, Arteta said, "He is in contention. Let's see how he progresses from here to Sunday. He had to leave the pitch. That's never good news, but let's see how he recovers." Arsenal are up against Manchester City on Sunday in arguably the biggest game in the Premier League so far this season. The Gunners could go into the international break top of the table if they beat Man City and better Tottenham's result against Luton. Pundit says 23-year-old Arsenal player could crumble versus Man City. Arsenal face Man City this weekend in a game that could already be called season-defining. Indeed, these two sides look the most likely teams to challenge for the Premier League title this season, and the winner of this match will have a huge psychological advantage for the rest of the term. Unfortunately, Arsenal head into this game with a few injury issues. Bukayo Saka could be out of action here, and the Gunners need to find a solution for if Saka isn't in the side. One possible option would be to play Reece Nelson on the right wing, but according to Steve Nicol, speaking on ESPN, the 23-year-old isn't ready for a game of this size. Nicol spoke about the idea of using Nelson against City. Nicol said, "Personally, I would put Jesus on that right-hand side. He's played there before. He played there for City. I would start with Trossard, Nketiah and Jesus on the right. There is talk of Reece Nelson starting. I don't think so. He is not ready for the size of this game. With those 3 up front, that's as strong as Arteta can make it." It's harsh to say that using Nelson against City would be a mistake. The winger may not be accustomed to playing in games like this, but he is the type of player who steps up to every challenge put in front of him. Let's not forget, he turned up for Arsenal in some massive moments last season, including against Bournemouth when he scored that incredible last-minute winner. Nelson may well be able to step up against City and prove all of his doubters wrong. Mikel Arteta says Arsenal summer signing has settled in exceptionally well. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has praised Gunners summer signing David Raya for settling in exceptionally well at the Emirates Stadium. The Arsenal boss was speaking to the Gunners media team about the 28-year-old goalkeeper ahead of Sunday's Premier League match. Arsenal signed Raya on an initial loan deal from Brentford, with the option for the Gunners to buy him for £27 million next summer. The Spaniard has since dethroned Aaron Ramsdale as Arsenal's new first choice in between the sticks, much like Ramsdale dethroned Bernd Leno in 2021. Raya's entire professional career to date has taken place in English football, and he has played in London since 2019 when he joined Brentford. The Gunners ace has also made upwards of 60 Premier League appearances, plus a further 141 in the Championship. Needless to say, Raya probably wouldn't have needed much gelling in time at a London-based Premier League club, and Arteta has now confirmed this. Asked about how well Raya has settled in, Football London quotes Arteta as saying, "Very good around the place with his teammates. He knows London very well. He knows the way we play. He is so used to that. He knows the league so exceptionally well." Arteta's pursuit of progress has been relentless, and he is not been afraid to make ruthless decisions in face of criticism. He didn't relent when it came to freezing out the likes of Matteo Guendouzi, Mesut Ozil, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Likewise, Arteta didn't relent when it came to replacing Lino with Ramsdale, even though the German wasn't doing badly. And Arteta certainly didn't relent when some of his signings, including the aforementioned Ramsdale, were met with a mixed or even negative reaction. Arsenal currently sit 1 point off top spot in the Premier League, finished second last year, have a strong team, and, arguably most crucially of all, there is a solid and disciplined dressing room atmosphere. With regards to Arteta replacing Ramsdale, it may have been harsh on the latter, but the manager is very much an ends justifies the means type of manager, and in the end, it's about advancing Arsenal as a club. BBC Pundit shares what Declan Rice has said to him about Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka is one of the most talented players in the Premier League, and he is also one of the most mentally strong players in world football. Saka has suffered numerous huge setbacks in his career, be that missing the penalty in the Euro 2020 final, missing out on the top four with Arsenal in the 21-22 season, or missing out on the title last season. Saka hasn't had the easiest of rides. However, each and every time he has a setback, he comes back stronger. Right now, Saka is struggling with an injury, but while he may be sidelined for the Manchester City game this weekend, we'd fully back him to bounce back brilliantly. That's not just our view either. According to Kevin Nolan, Declan Rice has also been very impressed with Saka's mindset. Indeed, speaking on the BBC Radio 5 Live Football Daily podcast, Nolan was speaking about Saka and he relayed what Rice told him about the winger in the past. The West Ham coach shared what Rice told him about Saka. He said, "With him, he wants to play. You see the way he is. I have spoken to Dak about him on international duty, and he spoke so highly of him about his hungriness to keep going and to keep doing well. Don will tell you, when you are playing and doing well, the last thing you want is the manager to come up and say that they are resting you for this one." This is what makes Saka such a fantastic player. You can have all of the talent in the world, but if you don't have the drive, desire, and work ethic to take your game to the next level, you are not going to get to this level. Saka pushes himself to his limits each and every time he steps onto the pitch, and that's why he's played so many games in a row, and that's why we wouldn't be shocked if he miraculously found a way to be fit and ready for selection against City this weekend. Manchester City's owners really like £158,000 a week Arsenal man. Manchester City's owners, the City Football Group, are reportedly admirers of Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. The treble winners have Pep Guardiola at the helm, and as long as he is there, they don't have to worry about replacing him. However, it's always good to have a succession plan in place, and the Athletic claim the City Football Group really like Arteta. Before Mikel Arteta was appointed as Unai Emery's successor at Arsenal, he was Pep Guardiola's assistant at Manchester City. The Spaniard moved to the Etihad to take up that role right after he announced his retirement as a player at the Emirates at the end of the 2015-2016 season. Arteta learned a lot during his time at Manchester City, and it looks like he made a very good impression on the people who call the shots there. The Athletic published a piece on managers who could potentially replace Pep Guardiola when he leaves, and Arteta was named in the story. It has been claimed that Manchester City's owners like managers who are or were once a part of the City Football Group. Arteta and Tottenham Hotspur boss Ange Postecoglou check that box. However, the report says the chances of Arteta replacing Guardiola at Manchester would have been much higher 2 years ago than it's now because of how far he has come with Arsenal. Arsenal are very happy with Mikel Arteta, and rightly so. The £158,000 a week Spaniard has completely revolutionized the club since he took charge back in 2019, and he has made the Gunners a genuine title contenders now. Arteta deserves a ton of praise for everything he has done, and it's no surprise at all that he has admirers. However, as long as Arteta is at Arsenal, we just can't see the Gunners even considering an approach from Manchester City to lure the Spaniard away from the Emirates. We don't think Arteta would entertain that thought either, even though it would be a really appealing opportunity. We feel Arteta loves Arsenal and he is going nowhere anytime soon. Mikel Arteta says £120,000 a week Arsenal player is a proper fighter. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has raved about Ben White and how he has developed over the last 2 years. The Englishman has been one of the Gunners' most consistent players. He has been magnificent for Arsenal, and if reports are to be believed, he is next in line to be offered a brand new contract. Arsenal signed Ben White from Brighton and Hove Albion in the summer of 2021. There were a lot of eyebrows raised when the Gunners agreed to pay £50 million for his services, but he has consistently proved his worth over the last 2 seasons. White started his Gunners career as a centre-back and he was very good there. Mikel Arteta then moved him to right back, and there were plenty of question marks about his ability to play in that role. However, the Englishman has erased all those doubts, and Arteta has heaped praise on his development and character. The Gunners boss said, as per Arsenal.com, I'm really happy with Ben. I think he's been a very consistent player for us. I think he's been always developing for us. I think he is developed in a great way, both as a centre-back and especially as a full-back, because there were some question marks there as well. I think he's got the character of a proper fighter and a character that we need in the squad, especially at this level, and I'm really happy for that. When Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta first deployed Ben White at right back, there were plenty of pundits questioning his decision. Many felt that the £120,000 a week Englishman could not be trusted to play as a fullback against the big teams. However, White has proven them all wrong. The 25-year-old has been absolutely amazing for the Gunners at right back. He was up there with the best in the country last season. He is a fine player and he fully deserves the new contract Arsenal are set to offer him in the coming weeks. Pundit says Arsenal may have found their very own Sergio Busquets now. Declan Rice may have only played a handful of games for Arsenal so far, but he is already a fan favourite. Indeed, the midfielder is already seen as one of the Gunners' most important players, and we have already seen discussion about what his overall Arsenal legend will be. Tim Sherwood has stated that Rice will ultimately become an Arsenal legend, and now, speaking on ESPN, Mikalik has echoed that sentiment. Mikalik responded after being asked to compare Rice with Patrick Vieira, and he actually said that they are very different players, claiming Rice is more similar to Sergio Busquets, stating that he can form his own legend at Arsenal without being compared to Vieira. Mikalik shared his verdict on Rice. He said, I think it's a tough comparison. First and foremost, they are different players. I think it's difficult, and I don't think he needs to. He needs to become Declan Rice, the legend. Let him become the Busquets of Arsenal or the Rodri of Manchester City. With someone like Rodri, there is nobody like him in that position right now. If you want to compare him to Busquets as well, it's a bit unfair as well. He is doing what Busquets has done. He is a bit different. Declan Rice will not be invisible. That record is nearly impossible. Patrick Vieira being that captain, it's tough to ask anyone to be somebody else. I think he may become a legend. His transition from West Ham to Arsenal has been exceptional. He's been exceptional in every game. He just slid into Arsenal, into that midfield, and he is bossing it and doing a great job. It's way too early to be making claims like this. Comparing Rice to Vieira does make sense. After all, they are both similar midfielders and have links to Arsenal, but to say Rice could be Arsenal's Busquets is a huge call. Busquets was genuinely one of Barcelona's greatest ever players. He won everything there was to win with La Blaugrana and then some, all while being a home ground player. Meanwhile, Rice has played a handful of games for Arsenal and cost a club record fee that he still has to work towards justifying. Rice could end up being an Arsenal legend, but we should slow down this sort of chat until he starts to win some major trophies. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.